Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Montoya. Alright, so today's video is all about a sewing starter kit. You really just need the basics to get started. I know it might seem like, oh, I need to buy this, I need to buy that. You can accumulate as you go. So once you see that, oh, you know what, I'm taking this serious. I can get this gadget, I can get that gadget, I can add this. But this video is just really about you getting started, foundation, basic, what do you need so you don't go out spending on your coins. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so the first thing that you're going to need in your sewing starter kit is a sewing machine. So my very first machine was by the brand Brother, model number LX3125. That got me through the first 4 or 5 years of my sewing journey before I decided I was going to get a new one. And then I bought another Brother machine. The model number for that one is SQ9185. That's also a very beginner friendly sewing machine. Love that one as well. And yeah, so that's the only two that I have used. I have tried a Singer sewing machine when I took a class before, a sewing class, but I really like the Brother brand sewing machine. Another essential thing that you need to have as a seamstress is an iron. Now, don't go out buying a new iron. Use what you already have. I really like my new Shark that well, this isn't new, but I like my Shark iron that I got from Target. My other one, I think it was like just a little $10 one from Walmart, but it eventually died out and it wasn't working anymore. I think that was the same iron I had from college. Yeah, and you know, that was graduated back in 2011. I'll let y'all do the math on that. But yeah. So you need an iron. When you sew a seam, you gotta press a seam. You are going to need some scissors. You'll need one for fabric and one for paper, and you never want to mix the two. So if anybody ever asks to borrow your scissors, say no, because you do not want to dole out your fabric scissors. You're also going to need some thread. So I suggest just starting off with one white and one black, and then build up your colors as you go. So for example, if you're working on a project, you have the fabric, what I like to do is just cut a small piece off and then take it to the fabric store to match the fabric exactly. And then that way you begin to build on the different colors that you have. But I don't suggest just going out buying a whole bunch of thread. Just build as you go. Do a project, match the thread, you're good to go. Another thing that you're going to need is a seam ripper. This is very, very important. You make any mistakes, this is something that is going to save you. Also, you will need some sewing, some pins so that you can pin your pattern pieces together. You're also going to need some fabric marking tools. These are my top 3 that I use most often. So I have a pencil, and then another one that I use is this one here, which is it's a water dissolvable ink, and then this is a chalk roller. So these are my 3 marking tools that I use. You will also need some needles for your sewing machine. Now, depending on the one that you get, it might already come with multiple for you. So every time you do a project, or you know, there's a rule like every 8 hours of sewing or after every project you should swap out your needle. So I have on hand at all times the 80-20 size ready to go. Also, you're going to need some extra bobbins. So every time you do a project, you're going to need a coordinating bobbin for the thread that you are using. And you don't want to have to unravel your bobbins. You know, you don't want to waste thread. So having just a set to create any bobbin anytime you need it is awesome. These ones are metal, but you can also use the plastic ones. Another good thing to have on hand is hand sewing needles, just in case you need to slip stitch anything. These are good to have on hand. Also, a measuring tape. I like the extra long measuring tape. Some other measuring tools that I really love are my yardstick. This has been with me since I started sewing. This yardstick that I got from Lowe's for 70 cents. I think it's up to $1 now, but a yardstick. I love, love, love my yardstick for all my measurements. And if you have it in your budget for your beginner kit, I also love my grid ruler here. It helps if you are going to get into drafting your own skirt patterns here, like I do on my channel, then this grid pattern is something that will come in handy for self-drafting the skirt patterns here that I do. Also, what you are going to need is something to help you with your seam allowance. So a seam gauge, or what I like to use are index cards. I love index cards because I can make multiple different measurements. So for example, say I have to do a casing for an elastic waist skirt or do a hem. What I like to do is measure down the exact length that I need and then measure that, and these help me with my seam allowance. And I use the same cards over and over because I use the same seam allowance over and over for doing different hems or casings and things like that. So either one. I use the index cards more than I use my seam gauge. Also, something to have on hand is a safety pin or a bodkin. I recently just got this bodkin, so a safety pin, has been my go-to for a long time. I have so many different size safety pins for multiple elastic purposes. When feeding elastic through any project, safety pins have been my go-to. This bodkin, it's nice too, and it's very inexpensive. So either one, or if you want to have both on hand for different projects, that'd be great. And this here it's optional. It's to snip your threads after you're done sewing. Most people say, snipping your threads will dull out your scissors, but I'm gonna just be honest. I just recently got some snips. I have been using these scissors for years. So if it's in your budget, go ahead and get it. Like you see, I'm taking, sewing very serious. So let me go ahead and invest in some snips. That way I, don't dull out my fabric scissors too quickly. But I haven't noticed my scissors being dull from snipping my threads with my regular fabric scissors. Another thing that you're going to need is a notebook. You cannot remember everything, every measurement, every idea, all those things. It's just, too much. So you need to let out all of your ideas, let out all of your measurements, take notes as you go along the way so you can reference back to them. I love my notebook. It has, whenever I forget something, I'm like, what did I do again? And I go back to my notes. Yes. If you want to begin your sewing journey drafting patterns, there are 3 different types of paper that I have used to draft patterns. Just regular standard printer paper I've taped together. I've also used freezer paper. And what I use now, which I wish I would have been using from the beginning of my sewing journey, is this is just a roll of paper that I got off Amazon. It's very long. I think it's 45 inches or 36, one of those. But yeah, I use this for all of my pattern drafting purposes. That way I can make my, I love skirts here on my channel. So I make my pattern, and then from there I'm good to go. And I don't have to do any taping when I use this long roll of paper. Alright, that concludes the beginner sewing kit. I've created a shopping list for you so you can print it out or just have it up on your phone to check off everything that you need. I've also created links for everything so that you can be able to purchase everything online if you don't feel like going into the store. Let me know if you have any questions down below. I hope this encourages people who have wanted to start sewing to begin. It is a life-changing hobby for the good. All right, until next time.